Okay. I'm going to put this beer there. I'm going to put this beer up here.
All
And
right.
I'm going to do something like, do you know this album?
Oh yeah.
I know a guy that one time wrote a song about Gainesville, Florida,
That's
and
right.
forgot to mention that there are no arrowheads in Hogtown Creek or something.
No. Just didn't sing well, you know.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to Two Dads Having a Beer. I am your host, Brandon Labonte, a show that is about dads being dads. And every week we sit down with a different dad from a different walk of life. It doesn't really matter what title you carry outside of the four walls in your home, because in this space, we're just dads talking about what it's like to raise kids, chase purpose, and avoid Legos at night. I'm your host, Brandon Labonte. I'm a dad of 10. Letting that sink in. Yes, it is a blended family. And I'm doing my best to protect, to provide, and to be present. I've had already 2 beers. But if you're new here and you want to hit subscribe, we would encourage you to do that. Follow us on all our social media pages. And if you've got a story to tell, again, it's not about who you are outside of the walls. It's about the stories that you have inside of the walls being called a dad. We would love to have you on this show. So let's get right into it. Honestly, this is going to be one heck of a show. Tonight's guest dad is a legend in the world of harmony, right? And he is one of those guys that has a heartfelt hustle with lyrics that just kind of like become the echo of your heart. He's one of the founding members of Sister Hazel, an iconic band right here from Gainesville. He has toured literally the country and the world for more than 30 years, which is old. It's actually as old as my oldest daughter. He's recorded albums. He is still finding time to be a dad. He's a husband. He's a faithful leader in his home. He's also an insurance agent. He's from the local area, and he's somebody that lights up the room no matter how big it is. He leads with humility, humor, and perspective. Hey, everybody, please welcome my friend, Drew Copeland. Hey, man.
Hey man, how you doing?
Bro, I am having a great time, and I've been telling everybody that I'm going to have you on the show. And everybody's like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I
You called
asked him.
Yeah.
and he said, yes. Yeah, that's it. That's all I did.
How long have we known each other? We've known each other for a long time.
That's all it takes. Yeah, we have. And to be honest with you, I've been thinking about that very, very question, because I feel like we've known each other a lot longer than we've actually known each other on a professional level.
Okay.
Because I graduated from Gainesville High School in 1991, right? And so
Okay.
you were right around that, a little bit before me,
Yeah.
in the Buchholz, right? And so
No,
there were
yes.
a lot. UGHS, I apologize. Somebody else was from Buchholz. We're not going to mention that guy. But from the standpoint of what we were doing, like there was a lot of like just stuff happening in the 90s that were just awesome. And I was at a lot of parties, and I feel like I went to a party one night and you were there just on a piano singing songs, and I was in the background, and my dad was a singing missionary, right? I grew up doing soundboard and singing in church my whole life. And I'm like, man, this guy can sing really, really well. And what's really amazing is, and it back to my original statement, like you have this unbelievable ability to find a harmony that just hits. And I love that about you.
Well, I
love
appreciate that. I appreciate that. The funny thing about that, as far as my harmonies and my note choices, is I don't really know anything. Like I grew up in a church that no, seriously, I grew up in a church that sang a cappella. There's no instrumental music in the church that I attend. And so
Okay.
everyone around me picks different harmony parts. And so I would hear harmonies, and I'll tell you the truth, my 2 sisters and my brother all sing better than I do. But
Wow.
I would just listen to the group around me, and hear different harmony parts. And so when I started doing this, which I never really intended on being in this, in the music business, I just sang a harmony that I thought sounded good, but there actually are kind of rules to harmonies that I just don't understand.
So you would sing tenor, then you would sing alto, and then you would sing baritone. Anything that kind of worked within the song, there are rules.
Yeah, right. And so, but that helped kind of define our sound and who we became. So, no, but thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know where we were, but I had the feeling if it was during the early 90s, then there's certainly a possibility we were both lubricated. So, yeah.
Which reminds me, this show is called Two Dads Having a Beer. I'm a dad. You're a dad. What are you drinking tonight, my man?
All right. Well, I'll just be honest. It's really my son's beer because I didn't have any, and I should have gone and gotten some. But I'm drinking it's a Michelob Ultra. I know that's probably
bro. No, listen. There's nothing. The show isn't about beer, right? The beer is just an active ingredient to allow flowing conversation. That's all it is.
There we go.
And so a Michelob Ultra is typically my go-to beer. It's my wife's, my favorite. And so tonight I'm going to open mine too. Oh my God, I just got it. Yeah. Cheers, brother.
Yeah. Here's to having me on. Thank you.
I myself am wearing a Swamphead Brewery shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm also drinking Swamphead beer tonight. If you are a Gainesville folk and you're watching this, make sure you go out to Swamphead Brewery. They have an amazing atmosphere and even better beer. You've been there quite a few times.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ken and I played there. We played there in the corner one time for Jeremy Foley's retirement. When he was retiring, Ken and I set up and we played in the corner. And it was kind of funny because as we were playing, it was a small group of people that were there, but Coach Spurrier was there. And he weaved his way through the crowd and like came right up in front, was like taking a picture of us. And me and Ken were both like, Coach Spurrier's taking pictures of us. Like what's that? Yeah, right. Yeah. How did this happen? But
did you ask him for that? Can you play that to me real quick?
Airdrop that to me. Yeah.
Airdrop to me, please.
He's funny, man. It doesn't matter if it's just me. Like I've seen him at golf tournaments and stuff, and I've gone up and spoken to him, and I'll say, "Hey, Coach, how's it going?" And he'll be, Sister Hazel boys, how's it going? I'm like, it's just me, but yeah, that's who we are. But I love Coach Spurrier. He's awesome.
He is awesome. So anyways, you want to get him on the show, you can let me know how to do that, and I'll drink his beer. Like you have your own music, he has his own beer, bro.
That's right. You know what? I should have brought one of mine. We have Ale for You. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
We have a beer called Ale for You.
And I am now I'm disappointed.
I'm sorry. I should have thought of that.
That's totally awesome, man. I am gonna have to get me some of that. So where are you calling from tonight, man? Gainesville, Newberry, out there in the sticks.
I am. I'm out. I'm at the house, and I can't believe it's this quiet because after my wife's latest addition, we now have 6 dogs. Yeah, it doesn't even make sense. But if it makes her happy, that's all. I'm all good. So yeah.
Listen, that is a great life to have. Dogs only.
Dogs only.
Kids are out of the house.
Kids are now out of the house. My youngest just graduated high school, and he is off to college. Yeah, so they're out. Where is
he going to school?
He's going to go to Santa Fe right now and work his way through the program. He's going to hopefully transfer over to the building construction program at Florida. And my daughter's a junior.
That's what you went to school for.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I went to school for. My daughter's a junior over at Florida, and my oldest son is working, and he's a physical trainer as well as a jiu-jitsu trainer, and I think he's getting ready to start firefighting school. So yeah, man, they're all killing it.
So many awesome things about that. My son is a firefighter right now for Citrus County. He just turned 20, right? And he's been and he won the Hometown Heroes Award just last week. He was nominated for it. His first 2 months, he was out there in a job in Citrus County, a fire blazing. Just imagine this, right? He is a 19-year-old kid, fresh on the job, and he runs into a house, and this is legit, ran into the house with a couple other guys, pulled him out, saved his life. And then he ends up winning the Valor Award just the other night from Governor DeSantis. I'm like, This is my kid who I didn't even know he was going to be a firefighter. We never even played that.
That is amazing.
What a good story. So
Yeah.
firefighter, what a great career, man. What a
Yeah.
great
He's
career for your
really
son.
good. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. And congratulations, man. You've got to be super proud.
There's no level of pride that can top that. I mean,
Yeah.
it is, as far as like kids doing things that are amazing. That is pretty freaking amazing.
It is pretty amazing. No doubt. No doubt about
So
it.
you've been in the band, and this is a recording that is on YouTube, and a lot of people know who you are. But those people that don't know who you are, you've been in a band called Sister Hazel for 31 years, and I want to ask you, how has that journey shaped you, Drew, to being the dad and the man that you are now?
Probably the biggest contribution that something like that has had towards my family life is my marriage, because in the band we're all five equal partners, and so we all five
Right.
have an equal say as to what goes on with our career. And because of that, you have to learn how to give and take, how to compromise, having the ability to decide what's important when.
Mm.
If you really feel like that you need to stand up for something, then you do. If it's not something that's as important to you, you let the person that is, that does hold it dear, let them have it. So I would say that part of it, as far as a contribution to my marriage, has been super important. And then also just in keeping peace in the house. I've got two boys and a girl, and so figuring out how to compromise and work with them, it's helped with that as well.
So obviously, you're a pretty famous guy, and that's pretty awesome. And your kids, they just know you as dad, right? So
Yeah, that's it.
how do they describe what you do for a living to their friends, maybe when they were younger? How did that transcribe?
I don't think I don't even know, man. I don't know, because it's so funny. When my kids were younger, especially the youngest two, I would take them on the road with me sometimes, and I remember one summer we were playing up in Chicago, and I took them for a walk. We were going down like Michigan Street or something, and Chicago was a big market for us, and I kept getting stopped by people that wanted to take a picture. Like, people recognized me for being in the band. And my
Right.
kids are with me, and they were like, they were so confused. They were like, why are these people wanting to get your picture? And I said, it's because the music that with the band and all that. And they go, they know you up here? And I was like, yeah, they know me up here. So yeah, I I don't think it's something my kids lead with by any means. But if the topic comes
Right.
around, what does your dad do? They kind of work their way through it, is what I imagine. I don't think they just come right out and go, well, my dad's in a band called Sister Hazel and da 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 da. I think they're just like, my dad's a musician. Well,
They go, here's the shirt.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it is. I do appreciate it when they come back to me and say, hey, some friends of mine, either in my sorority or some friends of mine that I'm in class with, just found out what band you're in, and they love your songs. And my son has sent me songs, and I do think this is funny. He sent me some video. Him and his boys were out somewhere celebrating something, and had karaoke going, and they made him sing All For You. And they sent me the video of it. And so I thought that was really funny that he can, they can have fun with it. And I think that's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I think it's even cooler that it's actually a karaoke song that everybody can sing, right?
Hey,
It's
that's
not
right. That's right.
it's
Yeah.
it's around the world, baby.
Well,
That's really awesome.
karaoke song is pretty cool.
It is a transforming music. So you said earlier when we were talking that you didn't think that this was going to be the lifestyle that you actually got into. So obviously music has been a part of your life. You've been able to just sing and be a part of music since early childhood, and then you kind of fell into this band, Sister Hazel, and then this career that has kind of just blossomed extraordinarily massive, right? But was there ever a moment, Drew, where you said, I got to walk away from this?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there probably have been a lot of moments when I thought that. Uh, especially, it's such a balance, because when the kids were younger, it was very difficult. I got very lucky. I married a really special woman that had the strength to be a single parent, because especially early on when the kids were really young, when I went on tour, I could be gone for a month or two at a time.
Yeah.
And so she had to function on her own. Um, my parents were older, and so they couldn't really help as much. Now, I did have a sister in town that would help occasionally, but for the most part, it was my wife that took it all on. So, um, there were definitely times when I went, "Man, am I doing the right thing?" You know? And then it also, uh, I would just say I'm very blessed. I'm very thankful for the career I've had and
Mhm.
have. Um, but there are certainly times when you wonder, am I doing the right thing? Like, because it can be hard. I mean, it's travel is hard, being gone is hard. Um, but overall, I'm super thankful for the guys I'm in a band with.
Yeah.
We have all managed to stay very grounded. We all have families. Family comes first. I mean, that's been a rule in our band for as long as I can remember. And if ever one of us needs a break, or if any of us need to be supported, the other guys are there to do that. So all those things have been a huge blessing for sure.
Yeah, something that is really important about that is the fans don't necessarily see the balance that goes into being an artist and a father and a band member. And so you guys have to really kind of connect on a very, very deep level and understand that even though you guys are one unit, you guys do have separate lives.
Yes,
And they
absolutely.
have to respect those boundaries, but also support them. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the reasons why you're 31 plus years and is the band has been going so strong. So
Well,
kudos, man.
our thank you, and our fan base has always been extremely supportive of that. And honestly, I think a lot of them feel as invested in our families as we are, because they've watched our children grow up. They've seen us
Yeah.
continue to go do what we do, and um, I think they're appreciative of the music we put out and the shows we put on and the fan interaction that we take place, that we take part in. All knowing that at the same time we're trying to raise families, and they've been supportive. I can tell you times when we have to, wish our wife a happy birthday from the road, or happy anniversary
Mm.
from the road. We'll have a ton of fans that get on and say, "Hey, thank you so much for letting us have your husband, even during these special times," and stuff like that. So there's
Yeah.
been a lot of appreciation from our fan base for what I will call sacrifices that we make to do what we do. Again, I want to say we're very blessed to get to do what we do, but
Right.
at the same time, there are sacrifices that have to be made.
Of course. And the hazelnuts, as your fans like to be so honorably called. What a great
Yes,
name, by the way, right? I
yeah,
mean,
the self
because you
love.
could spread them on some bread. They're
Hey,
delicious.
yeah.
Delicious fan base. What was it like playing the Food and Wine Festival for so many years and going like that family tradition that you mentioned to me?
Okay, so that, when we talk about my family and my kids, they will maybe one day they'll understand when they have kids of their own and they go
Mhm.
to look at going to Disney for 4 or 5 days,
Yeah.
and they see what that really means. Um, Maybe then they'll appreciate what we were afforded. But because Disney brought the band down to do the Food and Wine Festival or the Garden Rocks Festival every year from the time my kids were young, for 13 years in a row, we got to go down and play that, which meant that we got to go down and stay in a nice Disney resort and go to the
Boom.
parks. And, I had to play shows, but during the day, we took them around, and it was, to this day, my youngest two specifically, they look back on those times with just we just have such appreciation for the memories that were made doing that. So we still love it. Like, even as adults, the three of us, my wife got burned out, which I totally understand. But the three of us have gone as adults, that them being adults, and just had a blast. But but yeah, that whole thing was just an incredible part of their childhood, that I think that we'll always all look back at and just be very thankful for.
It's one of those things, like you have these memories that you just cherish. And I remember my dad and my mom, they used to take us camping to the KOA. And one of the
Yeah,
things that I talk about with my brothers and sisters all the time is the time where we got to jump in and go find bullfrogs, and they had this bullfrog race. And I'm like, that was like 5 minutes of my childhood that I cannot ever escape. Like, it's always in
yeah,
my head. And so, like, moments like that, like, you get to share that forever because it's real, it's tangible, it's impactful, it's love. And those things
absolutely.
are awesome.
They are awesome, and the cool thing is, with my kids being older, the imprint that was made in those younger years that you don't feel like is happening in, at that time, you don't feel like that it's really making the imprint. Later on, when it comes back to you and they're talking about their memories of that and how much they loved it and how much they meant to, that's dude, that's the best. That's the very
It
best.
is. I want to hug you right now, man. That those moments right there, there's such real dadness, right? That
Oh,
they absolutely are the cherished moments. So let's dive into some of the hard stuff, right? And this is because, listen, there are dads out there that that are facing a lot of things that maybe we have already gone through as dads of older kids. Like, you have a
yeah.
26-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 19-year-old, and maybe they have some preteens that are kind of starting to face some of these challenges in life. And the world has changed so dramatically since when we were
Oh,
kids, right? Like, you're talking about the people taking pictures of you. I mean, every single one of those people had a freaking flip up phone Nokia, and they were just, you know,
yeah.
but but but
Yeah.
but the world has changed. And so, but the challenges, even though the landscape is different, the challenges often are reflective of some of the same things. And that is like peer pressure and sex, and and underage drugs, and not non-prescribed drugs. Like, in your house, like, you have a huge influence on so many families being in a band, right? How was it with your kids when those things started to creep into your house? Not saying that they were underage sex and drugs and all that stuff, like,
No, I
but
understand,
like
yeah.
those peer pressure things. Like, how is it being a dad knowing that you had to juggle this major career and major life challenges?
Well, that's an interesting question because I'll tell you, there was a foolish part of me that thought, especially during, once they got to be teenagers, they knew what I did. They knew, there was much more, they had much
Yeah,
more understanding of my career and what I've done for as long as I'd done it and everything else. And I foolishly thought that it gave me some cred. You know what I mean? Like now when I say something
mm,
about different subject matter, they're going to see it differently now that it's, now that they know dad was in a rock band for, the past however many years. Um, and I thought the idea of, hey man, I've seen it all. Like I've seen it all. I want to help you avoid
yeah.
these mistakes. I thought that they would look at me and go, he's wise. He's
So
wise.
wise.
Yeah,
Must
I
be the
should listen.
beard.
Yeah,
Must be
yeah.
the goatee that he
Sure.
had.
It's like I thought that would mean, and it didn't mean anything, man. It's probably the same exact challenges that every mom and dad face during those conversations where you're an idiot and you don't understand, and it wasn't like you lived in a different time. It's different now, and you
Yeah,
hear all those things, and I will tell you, embarrassingly, but at the same time, I know everyone will understand it. There were times I handled it poorly. I can have a temper, and I look back at times like that when I wish I could have just kept my head a little bit better. Um, that frustration of knowing that, man, all I want to do is help you avoid mistakes,
mm,
the mistakes I made, and I want nothing more than for you to succeed. And they're not hearing it. All they're hearing is you don't want me to do the things I'm doing, and you don't understand anything. So I look back at those times and I wish that I had a cooler temperament during those
mm,
times. Now the times that I needed to, for their own safety, when I needed to let it go a little bit and be a little louder, um, and they may not have understood that it was for their own safety, but at that time, I needed to get my point across. And so,
Right.
it's just a real hard balance. I know, man,
Yeah.
it's one of those things though. I always look back and there's things that I wish I could have done better. But I will say that probably the biggest thing is to just continue to love them. Like, and I
Yeah.
mean, love them when they're acting like complete morons. Like, you gotta love them. You know
When
what I
it's
mean?
hardest.
When it's
Yeah.
hard, you just gotta, and look, I'm still going through it. It's not like they're through it all. They're still making mistakes and making me want to, thump them upside the head, but it's just, I do wish I'd had a little bit clearer vision of, hey man, this is a moment in time and you got to try to help them. And then you kind of keep going and you keep molding them and they'll find their way through it. And honestly, you got to let them make mistakes sometimes. And I think I tried really hard to not ever let a mistake happen. And that
Mm.
was probably wrong too. I probably should have let some of the mistakes that weren't going to be as bad happen,
Mm.
but yeah,
That's the sage advice right there. Because learning is through failure. And as parents, our job is to provide and protect and pursue goodness and love and peace in our homes. And sometimes that 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 protection is a learning moment. Right. So
right.
and I've been in the same boat as you, bro.
Yeah,
Same exact boat. And without ours. Oftentimes,
you're right.
as a
Yeah,
parent, doesn't come with a manual, right? So we're kind of
no.
like, uh,
And
it's not like a
God bless the people out there that are trying to do it by themselves. Like, thankfully, I
yeah.
have a very strong partner. And so,
Mm.
we were in the parenting together. Now, uh, did we always see eye to eye on everything? No, we didn't. But we worked through it. And a lot of times the places I was coming up short, she could take the slack, and the places where she came up short, I would take the slack. So
Yeah.
like I said, anybody that's having to do it by themselves, men or women, moms or dads, God bless you. I hope you've got a good support system around you because I can't imagine the frustration that would cause. So,
Yeah, it is. It can be frustrating. I assume. Again, my mom and dad, were married throughout my entire childhood and adult life until my father passed away in 2011. And so one of the things that I learned about that was, you know, you have an absolute partner in the person that you say I do to. And
yeah,
that partner doesn't always have to have the same plan as you. Well, they all have the same plan as you, but they don't necessarily have the same updated blueprint as you.
right. Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
blueprints come in different levels. Like there's some revisions here, and I didn't get them. Well, you've been away for 3 months, so I had to make some changes. And yeah, the
Yeah.
bathroom's now moved over here. Whatever the case may be, that's a little construction humor for you.
Yeah.
But so something that is really important to me is Jesus in my life, right?
Amen.
And so how does faith show up in your home and in your relationship with your wife and with your kids?
Um, I have taken it as a very serious role to be the spiritual leader of my household. That was something that I always knew was important. I watched it in my family growing up with my dad. My mom and dad were both very strong spiritually, but I've taken it very seriously that I am the role model for our family as far as that goes. Now that's very difficult because of my travel schedule, and there's Sundays I don't. But like this past Sunday, I woke up
You know?
in Wash I woke up in Washington D.C. and I made it to church to meet the family. By 10:30, I was there, and we went to church together. And so, I have always wanted them to understand the importance and where that sat in a priority for me. And I've tried to lead by example. Am I perfect? Not even close. Um, I have a million faults. I do a million things wrong. Um, but I also want them to know that that's okay. Your heart needs to be in the right place. You need to have
Mhm.
remorse when you mess up, and ask for forgiveness and repent and move forward. And that's the way that works. So I it's really important. I'm thankful that I have a partner that faith is very important to her as well. My kids have it. The seeds have been planted. Look, I will tell you this: that my parents, both my grandparents, both my grandfathers, on both sides were preachers. So my parents,
Heyo.
yeah, so my parents, it was very ingrained in them, and they did the same for us. But there was definitely a period of my life that I strayed like big time. Like I got away
So
from it.
so you're a PK?
Uh, PK.
You're a GPK, pastor's kid, a
Uh,
grandparents' pastor's kid.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, a GPK. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
a
So
PK too.
okay. Yeah, my dad was. So he was a wild man. So, but I strayed for a long time. And the worst part of that for me was the fear that I couldn't come back, that
Ah,
I had just been so offline that I was like embarrassed, like ashamed, like there is no coming back from this. But there is, and there was, and I made my way back, and thank goodness all that happened before I got married and had kids. Um, but I want my kids to know that too, that hey, this life doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. There's no
no.
such thing. There was one perfect man. Um, eh, but you try. You just got to keep trying. And so, yeah, man, faith is super important to me. Very important. And I'm super thankful that people listen to songs that I've written and recorded, and I don't have to beat them over the head with my faith, but they can sense it in the songs that I write. They can hear some of the lyrics in the things that I write, that they know that I'm a man that's grounded in faith, and I appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely something that you can sense and you can understand. Um, there's so much to be said for you know a family that is built on a firm foundation, right? And even though you were talking about this, like same story with me, like uh, I was so far away from Jesus, I didn't even know how to spell it, right? It was obnoxious how crazy life got that I made choices to do, and
Hmm.
to come to the realization that you know my faith in Jesus could be turned around in a matter of another simple decision. Back
Amen.
at it, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's really interesting to talk about that, and yes, your music does definitely has, uh it doesn't have to be this overtones of Christianity all in there because you are who you are, and Christ lives in you, and Jesus is a part of you, and faith is who you are, and that is transparent through the lyrics and through the sound and obviously through your lifestyle and conversations. So, you mentioned that you were wanting your kids to follow your guidance and that learning how to let go is done through your ability to hold on to your faith. So I appreciate that. So tell us about Jasmine, man. She's
She
got a brand new business and
she
it's called
does.
Neat Method Gainesville, and tell us
Yeah.
about how you're supporting her in her journey.
Well, she has always had an entrepreneur spirit, and she recently, a couple of years ago, was it a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last year. She
2024,
put
I think.
together, she yeah, 2024. She started a company called Jasmine Paper Company, and she designed a planner, a hardback paper planner that she sold, and it went really well. She did very good with that. She's always been she's a type A, man. And I mean like her and my daughter, like my daughter, when my daughter was like 4 years old, like she had all of her crayons out and she like had them all lined up and like the colors were exactly right on the, and we walked by and we were like, what are you doing? And she goes, they need to be in order. And that's my wife. Like that, like, so Neat Method is really an organizational company. So they have products that they sell to help people, like for instance, if they go into your closet or if they go into your pantry and your pantry is just a disaster, and they want to have some more organization, they'll come in with the supplies and they'll design your pantry. They'll help you design it. They'll take your advice, or they'll come in and just do it the way they see it, and then you come in and you can arrange things if you want. But it's right in line with who she is. and it has
Wow.
just taken off. I mean, it really has. This specifically this fall, students moving into UF, she actually was helping my daughter with
Yeah.
her dorm room and with some of the other off-campus living right there. And she just started getting phone call after phone call. Hey, please help my daughter, this and that. So she just did a ton of business, and that's probably going to create a whole different uh, area for her. Besides she does a lot of new home construction.
Oh yeah, she's gonna have the turn for
Oh yeah,
for students.
absolutely, yeah. Hey, before I did want to ask one thing of you, before because you've
Yeah,
got 10 children,
yeah.
and before we leave the faith thing, do you baptize any of your children? You
So
personally?
no, man. I've
You did?
been at the baptism of my children, and
Yeah,
here's really awesome, man. So it is recently that I decided that um that I was going to put my faith back in God, like January of this year, 2025, right?
yeah,
January 2025. Like I lived for Christ my whole life, and then obviously you had this time away, and I know that you anyways. So I decided in January that I was going to take Jesus serious in everything that I did,
yeah,
and and I have a 6-year-old. She's the youngest of them all, right? She is
yeah.
absolutely amazing, and she is going to church, and she is loving Jesus. And September 28th, we're getting baptized as a family, and I'm going to have that opportunity to do that for my
That
daughter.
is awesome. That is awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
I did the same thing. So after my wild side, I guess I'll put it.
Right.
Um, and I came back and I was walking the path. I was doing good. But man, I also grew up, like I said, I grew up in a house that faith was already instilled, like it was already there.
Right.
So when I got baptized the first time, I was probably 10 years old. Man, I didn't understand what I was doing. I really didn't. I
Right.
mean, I did it because the other kids that were in my class were, some of them got baptized. So I thought maybe I needed to do it. You know what I mean? I didn't
Right.
fully respect and understand. So Jasmine and I got rebaptized, and I know you don't have to do that, but we did. We got rebaptized several years into our marriage, and we did it
Wow.
together, and we both made a conscious decision to focus our
An
family
outward
more.
profession of your faith, and that's really
Absolutely.
amazing. So me,
Yeah,
Jennifer, and Harper are all getting baptized on the same day.
I think that's beautiful, man. That's awesome.
It,
That is awesome.
you know,
Good for you.
it's yeah. I mean, it's going to be one of those moments where, listen, my dad said this to me one time, and he was a pastor, right? He's like,
Yeah,
you can get baptized as many times as you want. I mean, you can get baptized every time you take a shower, right? It's really about the dedication of what you're doing in that moment in reference to God, and the moment itself, right? Doesn't have to be repeated. I give my life to Jesus every Sunday again. Like
yeah,
every Sunday, I give my left. I don't raise my hand and go up front, right? But
right.
like the opportunity is for me to say, this is important, and I dedicate myself again. Like, so being baptized is kind of like I understand the symbolism behind it, but I also understand the impact that it has on a choice that my wife and I are making for our family together, and
Yeah, man.
that's awesome.
100%. So thankfully, through a lot of study and a lot of I obviously I talked to my I have uncles that were also preachers, and I talked to them about the idea of me baptizing my kids, and they were like, absolutely. I mean, you take their confession, and I want you to stay biblical in how you do it. But
Right.
absolutely. And so I got the opportunity to baptize my two youngest. Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. It was,
That's so awesome. What kind of a feeling was that for you? And like
oh,
obviously, outside of the spiritual, like a dad feeling.
I can't even talk about it.
It's
Seriously.
it's literally like I should get you tissues, like that kind of a
Yeah,
moment.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's that
Awesome.
impactful on your heart, right? God
Yeah,
bless America.
killer.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. And so that is something that another amazing memory, just like, you know, singing and your kids remembering things. This is one of those things that has eternal implications.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I'm so proud of you for that, bro. I'm so proud of you for that.
Thanks,
And
man.
thank you for crying on the show. I appreciate that. That's going to
Yeah,
definitely go
anytime.
viral. All my lights go off. They only have like a 30-minute lifespan.
That's
I'm,
oh, that's awesome. Anytime.
I am, yeah, man. So I just wanted to say, hey, listen, this is your opportunity right now to plug all the things that you want to plug, because this is kind of the wrap of the show. It's another
Yeah.
episode of Two Dads Having a Beer, and I want to absolutely say thank you so much, Drew, for
Oh
being
man,
a part of my
it's
life
great. Yeah.
and
Honestly,
and bringing truth.
it's the most important part of my life. I mean, my faith and my family, man, that's top shelf for me. It's, you know, I've had people ask me before, you know, what do you hope you're remembered for? And although I'm proud of everything the band's done and the career I've had, that's
Mhm.
not really my top list of the things that I'd like people. I hope people remember that I was a good friend, that I was a good father, that I was a good husband, that I was a good, you know, a good Christian. I hope that those are some of the things that people look back and say, that's what I remember about him. So, man, I will just tell you that the band is we're still blessed, and we're still doing shows and putting out music, and we still have our fan events, including the Rock Boat and the Hazelnut Hang. The Rock Boat celebrating 25 years in January. We'll be doing that.
25
Yeah, 25 years. And then we also have our Lyrics for Life
Lyrics
charity.
for Life.
Yes, we have raised over $6 million, I think it is, for research for cancer. And one of the coolest things that we announced last year at Lyrics for Life was that the cancer that actually took Ken's brother's life,
Right.
when Ken's brother had that cancer, there was about I think, but like a 10 to 15% chance of survival with what they had to work with then. And because of the work that we've put in for the research for cancer, that number is now 90% curable, which is just,
What?
yeah.
That's
Yeah. So
astonishing.
it's incredible. So that's extremely gratifying. And so we're still doing, you know, we've got another Lyrics for Life coming up in the spring next year. So yeah, that's great. It's a good thing.
Absolutely. And my wife and I will be there again. We
Awesome.
just love that event, man. We didn't get a chance to go this past year because we had so many things going on, but we just love hanging out with you guys. I mean, I have pictures on my phone when we got a chance to go into your tour bus and down in St. Pete, not St. Pete, but in
Yeah.
Tampa at the Roxy, and what a fun
Yeah.
night that was. And then you had that little, you know, across the street, a very intimate acoustic set. And it was just one of those nights where we cherish that as a personal time for my wife and I, just to kind of hang out and just enjoy
Very cool.
some great music with good friends. And so we want to thank you so much, all the people that are there watching, man. Make sure that you download every single song that Sister Hazel put out, everything that Drew Copeland put out in the No Regrets album. That's a wrap for this episode of Two Dads Having a Beer. A big thanks again to you, Drew Copeland, for bringing the truth, bringing the laughs, and of course, bringing the harmony to tonight's conversation. If you've enjoyed the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can find us on YouTube, every single social media page out there, all of the places that you want to download a podcast, you can listen to it. And please leave a review wherever you listen to. And that would be really helpful for this podcast to reach another dad who might be needing some help from people like the guests that we have every single week. So if you're a dad with a story, or you just love hearing them, this is the place that you need to come to, listening to Two Dads Having a Beer. Until next time, let's keep cracking cold ones and keep those dad stories alive. And I love you, man. You be good.
All right, man. Thanks, Brandon.
Have a good one. And that's how you end a recording.